Good morning, everybody. Bro Ed the Red here, coming to you once again this morning from Louisville, Kentucky, with news, but also, of course, as usual, my own personal perspective on it, which you probably get more of that than actual news. Maybe. I don't know. Any rate, here we go. Here I go. Read between the lines, folks. Okay? Read between the lines. With everything, read between the lines, because there's always a whole lot more between those lines than there is within them. Ebola. It's obvious. Sorry, but it's obvious. As many Congolese as there are coming across the border, it's here. Like I said before, if it wasn't here before, it's most assuredly here now. I thought it was very interesting when I was listening to Jennifer, Veterans for Truth, this morning, that she said that there have been quite a few of these immigrants seen crossing the border with rolls of $100 bills. Now, I don't think that that's outside the realm of possibility, and it may very well even be probable. We know that it was, I'm not even going to say left-wing organizations, global left-wing organizations. I'm not even going to call them that, because I don't really think that's what they were, that were funding all these migrant caravans, and I'm sure that that's what this is as well. They're globalists, fascists, Nazis, socialist, communist, all rolled into one, basically, is what they are. They want everyone in the world under the control of the UN, everybody on universal welfare, everybody living in ghetto housing. That's what they want. So they know where everybody is, they keep up with everybody. When the time comes that the crap has completely hit the fan, they know where people are, and they can just come and start knocking everybody off one at a time, or dozens, hundreds, thousands at a time if they want. And people living in that particular type of situation, they're going to believe whatever they're told, and they're going to go wherever they're told to go, and they're going to wind up dead. That's the way it's going to be. At any rate, read between the lines with all of the things that you're hearing or seeing with reference to everything, not just the Ebola, but everything. You know, there's just so much disinformation going on out there, it's just not even funny. I even heard someone mentioning on Marf's show this morning that he had brought up an article speaking about virus-resistant antibiotics. Please. If you know anything at all about viruses, you know that only an antiviral can do anything with a virus. Antibiotics only work on bacteria. Now, that wasn't Marf's fault that was in that video. I'm not saying that he did anything that's inappropriate. I'm just saying that the video itself, not the video, but the article that he pulled up, was so obviously disinformation. There's no such thing as a virus that is bacterial, that is antibiotic resistant, because antibiotics don't do anything to a virus. They only work on bacteria. At any rate, I'm getting off topic. I'm just an example. Read between the lines, do research, know what is true and what's not. Elections. Personally, I'm not even 100% sure at this point that local and state elections are not fake and rigged. I'm just not sure. I hope they're not, because I tend to encourage people to concern themselves only with those and not with anything national. As far as representatives and senators and all that stuff, those people are concerned, I wouldn't even vote for them. because I really don't believe that your vote is being counted. I really believe that they're already being appointed by the UN, and we're just not being told about it because they don't want it to be known yet. I don't believe that these main two parties are really oppositional parties. I don't believe it. I believe the whole thing, all this violence and everything that's going on, the violence is real, but that's only because the voters are idiots. And they think that there is true opposition out there. Well, there isn't. I'm sorry, but there just isn't. They're one and the same. They're just going about the same thing in different ways. The only difference, really, at this point, between the Democrats and the Republicans is that right now, the Republicans are fighting for freedom, where the Democrats, or socialists really is what they are, want to take everybody's freedom away. And they're being honest and open about it. Well, the Republicans want to do the same thing. Don't let them fool you. They do. They just are doing everything they can at this point to ensure that freedom continues for now, so that when they do eventually finally get into the majority of power, which I do believe they're going to, then they're going to start being more like these Democrat socialists are. And folks, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not a Republican. I've been voting Democrat since after Reagan's first election. But I can't do it anymore. I just can't. Not with a clear conscience. Not when the very people that I had put my trust in all those many years are advocating and exercising violence against people that they think are their opposition, because they're too ignorant to see that they're really not. The voters on both sides think that they're still oppositional and opposing each other, but the voters are the only ones that really do. The politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans, they're not in opposition. They're doing the same thing. They're just going about it a different way. And chances are, when, and it will be when, I really do believe, when the Ebola does break out, I agree with Jennifer. They're going to use it as a divisive tactic to further divide the country, because so many people still believe that their vote is electing the president, or that the Electoral College is still electing the president. I personally don't believe that. So don't fall for it when they say that if you vote Republican, you're voting for the death of your child because you won't have any health care, or whatever it is that the Republicans are going to say about the Democrats. They're going to use your kids. I agree with her. They're going to use your kids as a brainwashing tactic to get you further divided than you already are. They want a civil war, is what they both want. That's obviously what they want. And if we continue being gullible enough to believe what they're saying, that's what they're going to wind up getting, unfortunately. Okay, John X saw a lot of flooding on his way to Tennessee this morning. He even mentioned that Illinois farmers have actually given up on planting this year. And he made a really good point. If that's what's going on all over the country, we're in trouble. You can expect, if we don't wind up seeing some kind of serious catastrophe other than food shortages and skyrocketing food prices before that has the chance to happen, we are definitely going to see that. And I hate to say it, but we could wind up actually seeing starvation on a mass scale. I hate to say it. It could be famine. Could very well be a famine. Because if people can't afford to buy the food that they need, or as much as they need, we're going to have serious problems. Now, last but not at all least, I'm not trying to in any way take anyone who is already in Marfugel's Discord out, or encourage anybody to get out and come with me. Honestly, like I've told you before, my setup here is quite primitive. I am not really in a position technologically to be able to do everything that he's doing as far as his Discord, and my hat's off to him. I'm glad that he's able to do all that, because he's helping out a whole lot of people. I didn't have a good experience with it, so I didn't really feel like it was to my advantage to try and stay in it. That's all I'm going to say. It was just not a good experience. Um, if anyone who lives near me or around in this area, Louisville, Kentucky, or somewhere near, um, it would be a good idea, I feel, to our advantage to begin our own community ahead of time. It is true, I do have a bug out location to go to in Bullitt County, and as far as I am aware, that is where I and my family are going to be. But God has shown me over the last few years that I don't always know exactly how things are going to play out. I wrote an entire book years ago about the way that I believed, and I was convinced that it was all going to play out exactly the way that I had it in my book. Well, I have found out since I finished that book that that's not the way it's going to happen. I mean, there may possibly be big similarities, but there are also some pretty big differences that God has shown me that are just not, it's not going to play out the way that I thought it would. There were, pets that I really loved and thought were going to be with me, and they're not, because they fell ill and had to go down. They're not going to be with me. There were people that I thought were going to be with me, and it's obvious now that unless God makes some kind of a way that I'm not expecting or don't see currently, then those people are not going to be there. So I don't know exactly for sure what God has in store as far as the bug out issue. I don't know for sure. Man, I might wind up being on my parents' property. It might not. I don't know. I could wind up being somewhere else. He may have something totally altogether different planned. I don't know for sure. But, taking into consideration that I have found that some of the, animals and people, a lot of people that I thought were going to be there with us are just not going to be. That being taken into consideration, I don't know what else is going to not happen that I thought was going to happen X, Y, or Z kind of way. So it's not a bad idea to have some sort of a contingency that way that hopefully either A or B I'm acting in within the parameters of His will. At any rate, if you're interested in doing that or in helping with that, please do. And I encourage everybody that is able to do so to do the same. If you're not in Murph's Discord, then, create your own community. And if you want to, then obviously, then please go ahead and help me also to create one as well. In the meantime, prep, ramp up on the prepping, definitely. As always, non-perishable food, water, body and oral hygiene supplies, first aid, those are the things you need most. Now, you are going to need a way to defend that, just in case people come and decide that they want to try and steal what you have. And there will possibly be situations where if you try to fight without weapons, then, you might wind up in really bad shape. So, I would certainly suggest a gun, or maybe even multiple guns. You can stock up on bullets, shells, whatever. Don't use them unless you have to. Of course, you don't want to kill anybody. I would suggest that unless it's absolutely necessary to do that, just disable someone to the point that they can't do you any harm or your family. There will be those, however, that you're probably not going to have any choice but to just take them out. I hate to say that, but it's probably going to happen. You're going to have a way to defend what you've got, whatever it's going to be. I would definitely suggest staff weapons, all kinds of stuff. Everything that you can imagine to use as a weapon is probably going to be useful in some situation or other. Slingshots are really good things to use. BB guns and pistols are quiet, but they can be reasonably effective if they got enough, air pressure behind that projectile. But I would definitely have weapons of every kind that you can imagine, just to be on the safe side. Until next time, love you guys. Please comment. Give me your opinion on everything. With reference to a lot of people, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again in closing, it's probably going to have to get so bad for the majority of us that we just are forced away from the city before we're going to actually be able to go. It's probably going to be that way. That's okay. It just gives us more time to prep. Hopefully we'll have a means of getting what we have where we need to go. But don't be surprised if you don't. Don't be surprised if you might have prepped and did all that and wind up maybe having to leave out with nothing but a bug out bag. That's a possibility. I hope that doesn't wind up being the case for the majority of us, but it could be. It just could be. At any rate, till next time, I love you guys. Wish you all the best. Contact me if you are able to help with the building a community. Till next time, Bro with the Red, signing out. Peace out, y'all.